And everyone folds. Frank the Tank continuing the onslaught. He's fighting back nicely, this young guy.
He is a tough poker player, Vince. You make the money 3 out of 4 times in WPT events, I'm telling you, you got some game.
And they've been playing for 4 days. Very tough poker. And this time, Ravi in first position with a pair of fives.
Well, Ravi's a graduate of the University of Illinois, majored in economics.
On.
Well, he's gone all in here with the 2 fives.
Chris out. Tank with a pair of kings.
On.
Right back at him, says all in.
Wow.
Only call with one hand here.
Mike.
You don't have that one hand.
Flying away.
Now, Carlos now looking down for 2 aces. He better hope he doesn't find 2 queens.
Gosh.
Might have a problem here.
Looking good.
He's squeezing like he wanted one, but Carlos, believe me, you didn't want one. That's because Frank has 2 kings. Ravi has 2 fives.
Frank the Tank with more chips, practically twice as many chips. So Ravi,
Queens last night.
in a horrible position right now, needs to get lucky.
Good luck, Rav.
He's going to need luck here to stay alive. He's going to have to make a straight, catch some kind of 5, do something, but he needs help.
Here's the flop. No luck for Ravi on that one.
And flop comes queen 10-4. That means he must catch a 5 to stay alive in this tournament.
5 of diamonds don't come out.
And ace of spade comes off, so we are down to the river.
So Frank the Tank trying to take down another village here. One more card away from knocking out Ravi.
Well, Ravi needs a 5 on the river. Doesn't get it as the 7 of clubs comes off. So that's going to do it for the Fighting Illini guy. Ravi Raghavan is going to be our 5th place finisher tonight.
Shakes hands, picks up $105,000, and walks away.
I looked down at the pair and I just shoved. And Frank, you know, that happens. He woke up with a bigger pair and I lost. I don't know if it was a good shove, but it happened, so.
4 players remain at the World Poker Tour at the Hollywood Poker Open. We're coming back with more action in just a moment. Welcome back to Hollywood Casino in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, where the Hollywood Poker Open is in full swing.
It's still anybody's game, so let's get back to the action.
Right now, we have a new chip leader. That would be Frank the Tank Callow. With close to $1.5 million. Actually was on him. He quickly folds his hand.
Yep, he just busted out Ravi to take the chip lead at this final table.
Mike going out, so around the horn to Carlos the Matador Mortensen.
Don't make me look, Carlos.
Going after his 3rd WPT title. Trying to make some poker history here.
I move on there.
Well, he says he's all in, but in truth, he's only putting up $225,000 there because that's all that Chris Bell has. So Chris folds his hand and Carlos takes down the pot.
Well, that is the dramatic Spaniard in him, you know. Just say all in, ole, and move on.
Well, Vince, there you see the 2 guys whose records Carlos is chasing tonight. Daniel Negreanu is the all-time money leader on the World Poker Tour. If Carlos finishes 2nd tonight, he'll take that. He's also trying to tie Gus Hansen as the most number of titles on the World Poker Tour with 3. Potential poker history in the making tonight, right here at the Hollywood Casino.
60,000.
I got 195 total. I'm on them.
Carlos on this hand with a pair of 4s has raised. Over the top goes Chris Bell. Tank has gone out.
You already don't get the 60 back, so.
That looks like ace high. I call.
And Carlos has called it.
Looks like ace what?
Ace high?
I thought you called it exact. I thought you said ace 9.
That looks like ace high, I say.
Well, we've got the classic race situation, the 2 overcards versus the under pair. Chris Bell with the ace-9, Carlos with the 2 4s. Chris Bell must win this pot to stay alive in this tournament.
Let me have the pain later.
Give me 4 more grays instead of the yellows.
So Chris Bell needs some help to stay alive. And the flop comes 6-5-4. So if it doesn't come 2 running diamonds or a 7 and an 8, it's going to be history for Chris Bell here. Carlos flops 3 4s. Well, there is a diamond on the turn.
195, Carlos.
So it is not
Give me my 195,
over.
please.
6 of diamonds.
195.
Well, the 10 of spades on the river. So that's going to do it for Poker Pro Chris Bell. He's going to be our 4th place finisher.
Good luck.
He gave it a shot. He goes home with close to 125,000. Always a good sport. The very talented Chris Bell says goodnight.
Yep, heading back to the Tri-City.
Yeah, I mean, I don't move with any ace, any two big cards there. Carlos could have had anything there, you know. I'm happy getting into flipping that spot with him, you know. I need to win a couple hands early, and I didn't, so, you know. Fourth is not bad, I don't guess.
All right, we are down to three-handed
Like
poker.
everybody has like 1.4, something like that.
I got 1.4.
1.4. He has the rest.
Yeah, he has the rest. So it's almost an even table. Each one of us took out a play.
Vance, I don't believe we've ever had 3 players left in a WPT tournament where they've been this close in chip count.
Last chance to make a winner-take-all.
All of them sitting right around 1.4 million.
That is pretty amazing. All right, all smiles. Cards being dealt. Action's going to be on Carlos.
Carlos going for poker history tonight. Could become the all-time money winner on the World Poker Tour if he finishes 1 spot higher than where he's at right now.
Carlos picks up ace-8 of hearts.
60,000.
Makes it 60,000 to go. Frank going out. And Mike with a...
He's got a 9-8 fence, but he does drive you crazy the way he squeezes his cards. I know that. So Carlos has made it 60,000 to go. Mike with the 9-8 is going to make the call.
All right, he's making a statement here. You can't push me around. Let's see what happens.
I'll tell you, even though the blinds are 12 and 24,000, with everybody having over 1.4 million in chips, they've got a lot of chips to play with here. So you don't have to panic. You don't have to get in any hurry.
Well, look at this. Mike has hit the pair of 9s. He's first to act.
Pretty amazing. Got 1 overcard here, and he's hit it to take the lead.
Nothing hitting for Carlos, of course.
The question is, do you check raise here, or you just go ahead and lead out and bet? Mike's going to lead out and bet.
Yes, he is. It looks like 82,000.
Yeah. When you raise pre-flop and all of a sudden the guy leads out on the flop, you always scratch your head and say, why is the guy doing this? If he had a real big hand, he'd check to me. Let me think about this. And you can see Carlos glancing at him, thinking exactly that same thing. But again, Carlos making the good lay down here as his opponent flops 2 9s and out flops him.
So the former car salesman Mike Mustafa got in this tournament through a $1,200 satellite.
Good call, Carlos. There's your piece, bro. Oh, you definitely have your piece. Yeah, raise high.
3 players remain at the Hollywood Poker Open. Coming back for more action in just a moment. Tonight's World Poker Tour brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The Hollywood Poker Open continues. 3-handed action. And the former car salesman Mike Mustafa is now the chip leader with close to 1.5 million.
Well, as you can see, we've got a good one going here. All players have about the same amount of chips, so this should be good. Carlos Morton's, of course, going for poker history tonight. Can become the all-time money leader on the World Poker Tour if he finishes in 2nd place or better, and can tie Gus Hansen for most WPT titles if he wins here tonight.
Well, it's on Frank the Tank. The 22-year-old with King-Queen raises it to 62,000. Mike Mustafa out.
Action over on Carlos. He looks down at an ace-5. 22-year-old staring him down. Carlos is going to make the call. Right now he's out in front with the ace-high. Here comes the flop. Oh, what a flop for Frank. He's flopped 3 kings as it comes king, king, 8. Action is on Carlos.
82,000.
Just perfect for the Tank. And Carlos is betting. What a beautiful position for Frank the Tank.
Carlos betting 82,000 here. And Frank knows he doesn't have an ace-king because he'd have re-raised him before the flop. So he knows he has the best hand. The question is, do you just call here? Are you fearful your opponent's got a flush draw? Yep, he's going to walk the dog, as we say. He's just going to call and let Carlos continue to have the lead here.
I check.
But Carlos slowing down says, I check in the dark. 3 of clubs on the turn.
Well, there is a possible flush out there now. So Frank is somewhat leery of that, I'm sure. But still, with 3 kings, you got to feel like you have the best hand, especially when you got the queen of clubs to draw at the flush.
Does the Tank advance forward? Just a few chips. Or would he just check it back? That is the question.
Well, he's going to check.
Gonna play it slow.
And here comes the river card. Jack of diamonds, no help to either player.
235,000.
235,000 is the bet by the Matador. Vance, I don't see any way Frank is getting away from this hand, do you?
No chance. You start thinking to yourself, possibly raise? No, you can't get paid off unless the guy has you beat. Do you call? Yes. Do you fold? No chance.
Well, the man has to have a flush or full house to have you beat. So.
Frank the Tank from Syracuse, New York. Taking his time. He's going to love this, though.
He's going to make the call. So for the first time tonight, the Matador makes a slightly wrong move, Vince.
Run time.
And just like in the bullfights on the poker table, once in a while, the Matador gets nipped a little bit by the bull.
And there is the Tank's friend Zip and Pip cheering wildly for their young friend. So right now, the ante's still 3,000, but blind's going up to 15 and 30,000. And back to this hand, Mustafa with a quick fold, and Carlos Mortensen now with an ace-jack. Not going to raise, just calling. And Frank the Tank with ace-deuce, content to see the flop. Here we go.
Well, here comes the flop. King 5-4. Carlos still has the best hand with ace-jack, but
60,000.
he's going to fire out there 60,000. But Frank with the wheel draw, as we say, the 5-high straight draw, even though it's a gut shot, going to make the call.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Carlos pushing a little bit here. Let's see if he can get lucky. No.
Well, deuce of hearts comes off.
That helps Frank. Pair of deuces. Carlos checking.
Well, Carlos has to suspect the guy's got some type of pair or straight draw if he called him on the flop.
Yeah, Frank also checks. We're going to the river.
Well, river card is the 7 of hearts.
Check.
Carlos is going to check and going to lose this pot to 2 deuces.
2 5s is good.
And I'll tell you something. The Arroz con Pollo is getting a little cold here for Carlos. Things turning around a little bit.
Well, he's a little bit unlucky in that hand, no doubt about it. But you're right, Vince. Carlos not faring well so far in this three-handed poker game.
Let's go, Frank. That's it, Frank.
Oh, boy, his flunkies rooting on Frank the Tank as he extends his chip lead.
The Matador turned a little bit red here because he's on the downhill slide in this three-handed poker game. See if he can get things turned around.
Back to the hands. Frank the Tank this time first to act. He has Jack 9. Gonna push. Makes it 75,000. Mustafa ejects.
Well, he's getting out of the way. These two are just having a nice little feud right now. So Mike's just saying, I'm just going to step back and just let them continue to clash.
Carlos with ace-6.
Well, Carlos has flopped bottom pair with top kicker, but checks. Frank has flopped an open-end straight draw. And the question is, do you bet this? Or your opponent might check raise you out of the pot, or you take the free card off? Well, he's opting to take the free card. So here comes that turn card, and it's the joker for Frank.
Oh, wow.
He's made the absolute nuts, the best hand possible, the queen high straight. Well, again, Carlos checks bottom pair. I believe Frank has to bet here if he wants the chance to win any kind of real big pot. You're just not going to win a big pot if you just check it on any street.
And the Tank bets 125,000 into the Matador. He's starting to slip on his red cape here a little bit.
So he's got to hope that Carlos made a bottom straight or has got 2 pair or some kind of big hand. Flush draw where he's going to make a move and come over the top. Lynch has not been very lucky so far in the short-handed game. He does make a good lay down here, though. So Frank Callow continues to go up. Carlos Mortensen continues to decline.
And with that hand, that's all we have time for tonight. But be sure to be with us next time when we crown our first ever champion of the Hollywood Poker Open.
Well, Vance, Carlos has taken some hits, but don't count out the Matador.
Well, he's still got a shot at poker history, but these two other guys aren't worried about record books. They are hungry to take down their first WPT title.
For Vince Van Patten and everyone at the World Poker Tour, I'm Mike Sexton saying thanks for watching. And until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters. I don't understand what this is for here.